All right, so that's us. So, Jason, what about those in your circle? What are some things that you're hoping to do with them to
Right.
help them get more out of life with tech or with whatever?
Yeah. So it's funny. Last night when I got back, and I started adding my notes into the episode, um, I scrolled down and I saw what do you have planned for your family and your circle and stuff, and I immediately thought about earlier in the evening, right? So I went to go pick up my daughter, and I pull up to my mother-in-law's house, and it's pitch black out front, right? It's around 8 o'clock in the evening, right? So it's dark, dark. The neighbor's house, they have on their security lights and their porch lights and things like that, but it's pitch black. So I'm calling my wife and I'm like, I know your mom has this Latina, these these old superstitions and stuff like that, but it's entirely too dark in front of the house. She's gonna come out one day and it's gonna be a strange man sitting on the bushes or or something. And she's like, wait, stop fussing at me. I've told my mom about this for months already. She won't do anything about it. I'm going to do something about it. So, so definitely like when I upgrade my lights in the back to brighten everything up, she's going to get the same LED lights in the front, spotlights, um, some motion lights. So for when people walk up and down the sidewalk, they'll automatically kick on and kind of lighten up the house. And of course, it's going to be something that she can control from her phone from the inside, whether she wants to turn it off and on or um, adjust the brightness level and things like that. So I thought it was funny, but my wife was like, you're fussing at me. I've been telling her about this already. So yeah, entirely too dark there. So definitely lighting, smart lighting, for my mother-in-law's house. I'm going to be working with my brother-in-law to kind of streamline his hiring process and stuff. And not that we're experts at hiring here because we still struggle to find quality help, with my company. But um, just to kind of use some technology and stuff to kind of streamline his processes and stuff. And I'm going to tell you offline another funny story about that. But my brother-in-law, he's kind of like you. He reminds me a lot of you, and I put it here at Thanos too. So what I mean by that, Greg, you always had the he has this trait too, where I can't remember what movie it was, but at the end of the movie, the Avengers won, of course, or whatever hero won, and they showed Thanos, and the thing opens up, and his glove pops up, and he grabs the gun, and he's like, "I'll do it myself," and he puts on the glove. So you've always had that attitude too, and he's sort of the same way, where you know if he wants something done exactly the way he wants, he won't depend on anybody. He won't ask for any help. I'll do it myself. So I'm going to be working with him as much as he'll allow me to kind of streamline his process and stuff. And we're going to throw in some technology and stuff that'll help him kind of manage that a lot better. Um, the shared photo album thing, we gave this several times as a tip, as a tiny tip, and also like an instructional to try to get people to use those better. I can't get my family on board with this. They'll Everybody will download the pictures that I add. No one's adding pictures. No one's adding or sharing any extra pictures. So I'm going to work on that. A few more family get togethers, holidays, things like that. Even if I got to just create albums just to get everybody to share and to stop texting these pictures to each other in our group chat. Because when my phone runs out of space, that's the first thing I'm doing is going through these chats and deleting and having to delete these chats. So shared photo albums, that's something that I'm going to work with.
Yeah,
And like I mentioned earlier,
I put 126. So we did pictures, and I took
hmm
126 or something like that shots of our family.
right,
And there's only 5 or 6 we're really going to use for stuff, but I put all of them in a shared album with everybody except for my daughter that
right,
uses Android because she can't get
right,
to those. And I'm like, here you go, have at it. And my sister is actually editing the ones that I want to do prints of.
right, because she's a
And
photographer, right?
yeah. And so I sent her the original so she'd get the full res version. I did forget to shoot in RAW. Should have done that, but
Yeah,
I did send her those. But I also gave her access to the full album in case she needed to pull a face off of a one photo to put on the good one. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
she also had access. It's so easy. Our family just eats it up.
yeah, yeah. So I got to get them on board. So I'm going to be working on that this year. That's going to be a focus for me. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, we're going to be doing the iPhone shuffle. If everybody's phone makes it without any scratches or major dents or screen cracks, um, I'm going to go with the 16. Wife is going to take my current one, and we're going to bump it down, unless I have to do like you were saying, recommended earlier, using this camera on this phone as a or one of the older ones, because my wife has a 13, which still has an awesome camera on it
Yeah,
too.
I'm going
I
to
can
use a
use that one.
12, right?
Right,
So
right. So we'll be doing the iPhone shuffle, but we'll see more details on that as we get closer to that time. So what about you? What about your family and your group
So
of
Wyatt's in some,
clients that you
yeah,
that you
my
support?
clients. Yeah. Wyatt's in some transition. He wants to start doing some video work. So he wants to be a personal trainer and he's working on that. And
Okay,
he's already got his Instagram account for where he wants to publish his fitness stuff. And so he wants to
okay.
start doing some video work. So we'll see. He's got my 2020 MacBook with a butterfly keyboard. We'll see how
Hmm.
long that's going to last from him. And I already told him that when we get to that point, he could either think about getting a big iPad or he just needs to get the MacBook Air. One of those two
Right.
options, depending on what he's going to do. He's already taken one of my extra tripods. And I got thinking about that too. He's on an iPhone 12, not the 12 Pro, but just the 12. We'll see
Hmm.
if he needs to upgrade because that's what he's going to use to film all of this stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so I'm thinking he's probably going to want the best quality
yeah,
possible. So he's definitely going to have to go Pro, either
yeah,
14 or 15 Pro.
yeah. So we'll see where we go with that. I mean, some of this may depend too on what comes out on the 16 if I feel like I want to upgrade.
Hmm.
So, we'll see on that one. So that's for him. And then I think we're going to have some device shuffling and upgrading in the house. So I've already handed off one of my spare phones, my mom's, and this other
Right.
12 Pro. I'm hoping it doesn't need to go anywhere, but it might. And that just means I'll end up using my 15 as the recording camera, which is fine, right? It just
Yeah.
means my phone's tied up while we're doing the show. So, but Karen's on a mini, the 13 mini. We'll see.
Hmm.
And she was peeling on her screen protector the other day, and I'm like, I don't see how you can stand to do that. But anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
she's on one of the earliest, maybe the first 11-inch iPad Pro
Right.
too. So I don't
Which
know.
lost it didn't get 17, right? Didn't it
No,
fall off
no,
this
it got
last one?
17. Whatever hers is
Okay.
got 17. But so we might need to
Okay.
do some shuffling there. And then, of course, they're going to revamp the whole iPad line. So who knows what other ones I'm going to need to buy.
Right.
And then my youngest grandson's iPad, because it's my mom's old one that's still on, only can hold iOS 12. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that that will last long enough for me to get a new mini and for me to just give him this mini, which is
Okay.
perfect. Right.
So,
So,
because we talked about this before, I saw it on the list, and I'm like, I wondered it because you were saying you're going to try to hold out as long as possible, as long
yeah.
as he can stay on there. But eventually, they'll start realizing that, hey, this doesn't do what Grandpa's iPad
Yeah,
does.
I mean, I can't
So I
put
can't.
Disney Plus on it. That's
Right.
kind of the
Right.
big problem. But the other option may be because Karen's kind of talking about maybe going down to a smaller size than the 11, and she doesn't need the Pro anymore, right?
Yeah.
So if we get her a new one, it would be the Air or even if they come out with the 11th gen without the home button. I don't want the home button. I'd rather get rid of all of that here. But she could take my mini and he could take that iPad
Yeah.
11 inch, but it's all dependent on what I end up doing. And I don't think I want to have a single iPad in my life. I think I still need the smaller one. Because again, if I spend 11 hours in the Kindle app, I don't want to spend 11 hours in the Kindle app holding
Yep.
the
Holding at
12.9.
12.9.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I mean, maybe I decide I look um, into a Kindle, an actual Kindle,
Yeah.
right? And do some of that stuff there, but we'll see. So I want to see what's announced at WWDC. We'll see what kind of software stuff is coming. And then I got to clean up the charging situation, especially now with Wyatt moving back in. I mean,
Hmm.
it seems to be like complete chaos because now we've got a combination of devices that have USB-C and Lightning, and then the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
ends of the cables, some are A and some are C, and we've got some C charging stuff. I think I just gave him my last 20-watt charging brick, which is overkill because what he needed it for were for his Beats, which are USB-C to USB-C,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, you don't need 20 watts for those, right?
Yeah.
And so um, there may be some more of these, like this 47-watt dual USB-C anchor brick that I have here in the office. There may be some more of
Hmm.
those coming in. And then, finally, I'm going to be in that trailer a ton. So we'll see, what all the tech and stuff that I want to put in place. We might need a new internet source. If I'm going to be, spending 2 weeks at a time in the trailer working, that my hotspot's just not gonna
Right.
cut it. So the trailer stuff, we might have to have a follow up on this once I start camping again. So
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like, well, I say sooner rather than later, but it was always just a running list that I had of stuff that to kind of to smarten up your trailer and stuff. But yeah, I think we'll start putting together an episode and talk about that pretty soon.
yeah, I think we're gonna have to do this in phases. So I think because a lot of it will depend on what trailer I have. So
Right.
if we start doing it this year, because I don't know that I'll upgrade my trailer until maybe late in the year, and it all depends on when we sell and when we decide to move and stuff like that.
Right.
So if we start doing some of that stuff in the spring, I want to make sure it's stuff that I can easily take with me into the
Right.
next trailer, right? And so I'll want to think about, this is the trailer I have now. Will whatever I'm buying work for the trailer I think I'm going to get? And can I take it with me super, super easy? Because I,
Yeah.
I doubt if I resell the trailer or if I trade it in, I'm going to get any credit if I've done any, you know, fully integrated into the trailer kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that, which is why I like the idea of like those Govee lights, because they're just 3M sticky or magnets, right? And so
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
take them off and put them on the next one.
So I didn't consider that when like there's a sound bar. It's waterproof. Outside, it's designed for um like porches and stuff like that. Um, yeah, stuff like that is more of a semi-permanent kind of. You would need
Okay.
something a little more portable.
Okay. I need you to make two lists.
Okay.
So, because in a couple years, when we end up in the more permanent location, wherever that may be, and we'll have to talk offline a little bit about that. One of the things that I know is that I want a killer outdoor space. Whether I'm living in a tiny home or an RV,
Right.
I want to have a killer outdoor space. I want to be, first of all, I want to be somewhere that I can be outside year round. Even if I have to sort of enclose it and use a small space heater, or sort of
Yeah.
enclose it and use a small AC unit, right? To deal
Hmm.
with the extremes. But most of the time I wouldn't have to do that. But I want outdoor kitchen, I want outdoor office space. That's not me picking up and moving a bunch of stuff around. I want a
Yeah.
killer outdoor space. And as I was writing, I did this exercise that I heard about where I wrote my dream job description. But part of
Right.
that job
Right.
description, you also say, where are you living? What are you living in? How are you living? And that kind of stuff. And as I wrote that, I realized that the most important thing I want wherever I live next is the ability to be outside all the time. And that includes working outside. So you might need two lists.
Okay. Well, so I do have to change stuff like that. So yeah, I'll get two running lists going now,
All right.
and the stuff now will be more semi, not permanent, but more portable. Well,
Cool.
I got some alternatives.
All right.